Business matter. Let's talk business. Business matter.
Hello viewers, welcome one more time to your program Business Matters, a platform where we explore business in terms of insights, trends, and of course, knowledge that can help your business thrive. My name is Stephen Ipalbo Lawson.
Let's talk business. Business matter.
We live in a digital age. How ready we are to take an advantage of that particular innovation is one thing we need to be able to explore. Businesses themselves have to be able to embrace change in order for them to still stay abreast and above water. Let us have a business update. As is our tradition on Business Matters, we invite a distinguished guest into the studio to do justice to the topic of the day. And my guest today has a distinguished career in integrated marketing communication, spanning business development, general management, and media, over 30 years from leading and global ad agencies, where she has worked on several global multinational and local contents, as well as accounts. She has also worked on several strategy planning and brand building workshops for clients over the years. She recently became a Digital Ad Expert certificate holder by ALEPH in Digital Marketing 2023. She is a past president Association of Advertising Agencies of Nigeria as well as APCON. She is a past president Association of Advertising Agencies of Nigeria as well as APCON. She is a WIMBIZ Council member, Delegate 2014 National Conference and multiple award-winning APCON Fellow and Chairman LAIF Awards for AAAN from 2011 to 2014. She is also a leading industry award judge and juror for advertising and Macom's Awards locally, internationally. Please let's welcome Madam Olubunmi Oke, the CEO and lead consultant of Ladybird Ltd, as we explore the topic brand building in the digital age. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a great pleasure to always have you. And now let's go straight into the conversation of today. Sometimes we wonder what brand building is about, advertising or advertisement is all about, especially in the digital age. And one of the first things that comes in mind is what are some of those key strategies that helps in building a successful brand in the digital age? And then how has all of this strategy evolved with the rise of digital platforms as well as online and social media and platforms as the case may be?
Thank you very much. Well, the first thing we'll say is that the essence of digital marketing is that it democratizes the ability for you to sell the brand benefits you have of your product or service to everybody on a platform that everyone can reach. Unlike before, you had to have a television
True.
to read, and you could only reach those who were on TV or only those on radio. But now, everybody has a digital device that is smart. Most people have. So therefore, you can choose the time you want to talk to people, who you want to talk to, and reach them at a cost that is also cheaper than before. So the first thing that is happening is that the world has evolved in the way consumers get knowledge about brands, goods, and services.
True.
So it's so important to have a digital platform and what we call a digital footprint. So if people, for example, in this day and age, people use digital platforms to find out and make inquiries about goods and services. If they want to travel on an airline, they first go and Google it, as they say.
Yes.
Go and do some research. So if you're not on that platform, you are not existing. If they want to find out about a resource person, it was the same way you got in touch with me. It was actually on a digital platform.
That's true.
You know, again, now, although we've been in touch before on non-digital platforms, but this one was still a digital platform. If you are not there, nobody will be able to reach you. So that's the same thing with goods and services. Whether it's a country brand, a product brand, your personal brand, you must have a digital footprint that you create. And this is where your brand building skills come into.
Coming true.
Because when people do research about you or research about your goods or service or your country, what do they find? Is it only the negative stories? Do they find them when they're only doing striptease? Or do they find that this person is an intellectual and you can only get them on maybe a LinkedIn platform, talk about their contribution to humanity, about their intellectual capacities, or about a country that looks so good? You see, it's all about ensuring that you use your digital platform to market yourself in a way that you can be authentic, but at the same time, you can reach everyone, and it crosses borders in a matter of seconds.
As a matter of fact, you mentioned the word authenticity. What role does it play, especially in brand communications these days? We need to be able to be sure that the truth is being told and that you're not misrepresenting what the brand can actually do.
Well, you see, the worst thing about not being authentic on a digital platform is that it's faster for the consumer or the user of that product or service to even give you a feedback. It's almost instant. If you tell them, go and take this particular medicine to cure your headache, they will try it that day. By the next day, they've replied, it's not working. Like before, maybe it will take 1 year before they can have a platform for the whole world. Or if you tell somebody, use this airline, you have a very good service. They Google it, they get the response. It is the conversation they have online with that product or service that will determine their response. So if they're calling and there's no response endlessly, before, you might not hear about that bad response until about a month. You're going to hear it in the next 24 hours.
But does it look as if in Nigeria, for example, our brands don't seem to be reactionary to some of this customers and reviews, where, still you find that the customer service is still wanting in terms of excellence? I don't see how that is fully, a different story for us in Nigeria.
This is where authenticity comes in. You cannot say just because you're on the internet, your brand is good. If you're a good brand, whether you're offline or online, you'll be a good brand. What is just happening is that the internet helps and the digital platform helps to project what is already very good or what is already very bad. That is the sad story about it. That is why it's very authentic. Because if people are fighting in the marketplace, this is not a Nollywood movie. We say cut and stop. They're just taking a picture of what's going on. And that's what they're going to see. And that's what's going to be on the digital platform. And unfortunately, it's going to reach people in seconds. And you're not going to have a second opportunity to explain. And that is why you have to be very, very conscious about building your digital platform. You call it packaging, call it authenticity. What is authentic? Say what you want to be quoted about. And know that what is even more unforgiving about digital platforms is that it's there forever.
That's true.
It's going to be there in the archive. So
that's true.
Even when there's a problem, there's something called damage control, crisis management. Don't forget, people will be forgiving if you are a brand that, for example, you should change the customer, not intentionally. There's a way you go back and apologize. And everybody will say, they are so remorse, they are genuine. But when you go there and you don't do the right thing, the record is there that they're not even remorse. Don't you see what we say sometimes? What even maybe if you're talking about the political consumer, for example, or you call as a citizen, why some people are so dissatisfied with the brand called our country? Sometimes it's because of the reaction we get online. It has to be managed. Anyone that is in the job of managing the image of Nigeria has to do exactly that. That is, do a good job of managing that image. Just the same way, if you're having a family meeting, at least people make an effort to make people look good, serve tea or coffee. That's the same thing that our politicians, our government leaders must do. It is their job to manage the image of our country or of their state. The point I'm bringing out is that it is a responsibility. If you flip the coin and look at other countries and go on the internet, you see good stories. It's not that they're all good stories.
That's true. That's true. America does an excellent one in that. I mean, people imagine that there are no ghettos in America.
That is why they say packaging is very critical aspect of marketing. You package, even if you're going to buy maybe even if it's salt, the way you package your salt, you don't just put it in one black nylon and put it on the say salt for sale. By the time you make it look nice, it's still salt. It's still the same thing, but it's the same thing with you and I. Why do you take your time to try and do your hair look good? Because your outward appearance affects your overall health. It affects also how you think,
your mindset,
and your confidence level. So that's the same thing we do with our country as a Nigeria. We have to package Nigeria on the internet. So it's not by force, it is by a strategic, conscious plan that all our platforms that have a digital footprint must show the image we want it to show.
Sure.
And where there's a problem, there's something called damage control. Nobody is perfect.
Not at all.
So no,
That's the journey we take.
you'll find that if you've done so well a job of managing your brand, have you seen that consumers even have empathy
True.
for a brand that they
True.
love?
True.
That is why we talk about sometimes brand love. They love the brand, even when there's no net. They'll say, "Oh, no, it's not like this. My,
Yes,
my
so it's,
network. Something must be wrong." They will even
yes.
give an excuse.
For
Or
you.
you go to a country and say, "Oh, I wonder what happened today. The service I got there was not so good because they are so much in love." But there are some, because they are not in love with that brand, even when there's nothing wrong, they just poured a cup of water out of the window and say, "It's still raining as usual." Complaints. So the psychology of managing brands is a very, very critical aspect
That's true.
of life,
That's true.
of existence. You find that even God has packaged the world so well. Look at how He puts lovely flowers somewhere, the breeze.
That's true.
You go, so why? It's all because there's some place that if you just walk through, your brain will come somehow readjust, reset, and become a bit more positive towards that thing. And at the same time, when there's a raging fire or something that is very negative, you find that it ruffles everybody. That's the same thing with brand management.
All right. Let's look at the strategy of copywriting, because I know that it seems to be gaining a lot of traction in this day and age, where copywriters, as a matter of fact, can actually make income without necessarily being in a structured ad agency or a structured PR firm, as the case might be. And people are beginning to say that copywriting, as a matter of fact, is a strategy that can help to promote your brand, especially in the digital age. I don't know how your response to that will be.
Well, there's something called copywriting, quite okay, but there's something called professional copywriting.
Okay.
There are two different categories. Now, you and I can sit down and become presenters of TV programs. Does that make me a professional TV presenter?
No.
I might have very good diction, but there's a skill that goes with professional production, and you need it when it comes to some global world-class standards. Now, even in school, everybody is taught how to write poems, to do things. So everybody feels that they can write copy. But you see, copy has an objective. In a professional environment like advertising and marketing, online or offline, it has an objective. Maybe there's a subtle marketing message behind that copy. What they're trying to tell, copy is a way of, you take a lot of words into a very simplistic way, but you don't lose the essence of the brand or the subject matter you are writing about. And that requires a skill. So just like you and I can give ourselves first aid treatments or take over-the-counter drugs, that doesn't make you a medical doctor. The difference is that brands die, but they don't go to the mortuary because they went to a quack to do the job of what they should not do. They just say, that business was not successful, or that brand was not good. It's not true. It's because they used a quack to write copy. They were just writing nice things, but had no strategic intent, had no understanding, had no direction. Trust me, there's a difference between the professional writers that are copywriters as well as content writers. Now, it doesn't mean a content writer may not be good at writing the content, and that's why I said you manage by objective. If you say write a poem, that objective is to write a poem. Some people are good at writing poems, but copywriting for brand building and business growth is not the same as writing a poem. So it might sound nice, it might be even very pretty, but there might be certain cues and nuances that are missing, and they won't know because at the end of the day, it's like you treating yourself with Panadol, but the person actually has malaria. They look as if the person is okay, but for the first time, then maybe the body luckily adjusts itself. But by the time the person is now getting a bit, will I say, to a point where it now requires help, you find that it happens with brands too. You find that it gets to a point that when a brand manager has tried to use a cheap and cheerful so-called copywriter that says he might be just a freelance, he hasn't got any experience from a good global structure or from a good institution that teaches you at least the basic fundamentals of what should entail in copywriting. It's like you find out that such people, I think they even do so much damage to our business because a lot of people, everybody believes they are a brand manager or can be a professional brand builder now. And you see also the fact that you're good at writing does not necessarily make you a copywriter.
All right. Okay, we're going to go on a short break, ma'am. As soon as we're back, the conversation on brand building in the digital age will continue. Please stay tuned.
Let's talk business. Business matter.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, this is Business Matter, and we are in the studio with Madam Olubunmi Oke, and we're looking at the topic, brand building in the digital age. Ma'am, before we went on a short break, we're talking a lot about copywriting and content creation. I want to take the conversation towards the area of influencer marketing that seems to have gained a significant traction in the recent years. And the one is imagining how can brand, as a matter of fact, collaborate with influencers in order to be able to drive their message within the communication mix?
Thank you for that question. You see, the beauty of advertising and marketing communications is that it's an ever-growing field, and there will always be new platforms for consumers to engage with brands.
True.
Don't forget that there was once upon a time there was only radio, then another platform came TV, then you came to outdoor, then you now have out of home, then now you have digital platforms, and there are so many different digital platforms that you can use. Now, influencer marketing has risen out of the development of digital platforms, and they have followers. So what happens is that you have a lot of people who they have an impact. In the olden days, what is called an influencer marketing is what you used to call opinion leaders in those days.
Yes, that's true.
You know, it's
that's
just
true.
that,
That's
it's
true.
like ARCON and Ogi. They have different names and they have different effects, but
That's
they're all
true.
from corn.
It's like it's like reading the newspapers
Yes,
with
they're
a
all from
particular
corn.
columnist, and then
Exactly.
every
But
Friday
now
you are
the
reading
platform is
the.
totally different. So, but you see, the difference with influencer marketing is that it tends to be granular. It's one by one, one person. You know, before in a newspaper house or a TV, there's a whole group like you hear of people that make a message come out. You would have had the production of a TV commercial, but with influencer, it is their own platforms that they have developed. From that, you have a group of people that have interest. Now, the advantage of influencer marketing is that you have instant feedback.
Okay.
But don't forget that in marketing, there's what they call different stages of growth of a product or a service. And that is where some of them miss it. I'll give you an example of what I mean. You know, just like a human being, there's a birth stage, there's a toddler stage,
Sure.
middle-age stage, and so on and so forth. A product that is just being launched, you may find that influencing marketing might be the best platform to use as part of your marketing strategy, because you want everybody to know about it. But by the time you are doing, maybe by the time you're getting to the level where the brand is 10 years old, you want them to understand the intrinsic value and the benefits of that brand. Because that person only brings about the outer aspects of that brand, you now need somebody who has maybe technical knowledge about maybe how that drug works or how that product works. What are the intrinsic values of, for example, maybe there's a food product in particular that has vitamins, that has certain minerals, that has to be prepared in a certain way. The fact that an influencer marketer is maybe a musician and he doesn't know how to cook, and now says, go and buy this particular product, everybody's going to be happy. That is where it's not authentic anymore. Because you know that they're just capitalizing on the fame.
I was going to even ask, are there no standards to these things? I mean,
they are supposed to be. But you know, just like anything, you can have cheap publicity. Just say, I just want the numbers. So they give it to a musician that has 1 million followers. Half of the people, they don't even cook. And yet they are sending a platform. So the point is that, but when you come and say, how many people do you reach? 1 million. But the next question is,
how
what
many?
impact?
Yeah, did you have?
How do you measure impact? You must have determined your objective before you start a campaign. If the objective is just to make a product or a service popular, then you might have achieved your objective with that level of influencer marketing. But if it is not, you might need to use the whole myriad of what you call the communication mix. And that's why I keep on saying TV, radio, but they will never go out of fashion, because the only difference is that you need different platforms, they have different effects. If I need to get to 300, maybe 30 million people at an instance, that I can have a platform to demonstrate how to use my products and services. I will need TV, or you will need to put that video, just like you finish here, you converge, you still put your production on the internet. For people
on
to
YouTube,
take their
on
time.
Facebook, and the rest of
The difference
that.
is that with the internet and digital platform, you can do things at your own time. That's why you have stop and go. You can watch. It's not like before when you miss the TV program, people will be scuttling to watch Cockroach at dawn. Maybe because now you can go and you play and go as you like. You can even stop, rewind. So the digital technology has made things so much easier at your fingertips. However, the communication platform has not changed. The fundamentals of communication, whether it is on digital platforms or on terrestrial, the IDA principle remains the same. You must get attention, you must
True.
get interest. The consumer will take a decision and they will take action. The difference on digital platforms is that it could be faster. Because by the time they Google and research on online and find out that the information they get is quick and is there and it's authentic, they can go ahead. But you know, also, the danger of the internet is that there are a lot of fraudsters also that are on the internet.
That's true.
So if you find that you need to do your homework, it's not something just because someone has a platform or is an influencer or that the person is credible. So those are different aspects of what you check. Which a brand, that's why you have some brands that will now dissociate themselves with certain influencers because they suddenly woke up because they didn't do their homework well and found out that it was not credible. But if, for example, it was a non-digital platform, before they even give you the TV commercial or the advert, they would have found out whether that TV station or radio station is credible before they even give such a
Why do you
communication.
get the impression that outdoor advertising, especially with the billboards and all of that, seem to be having a lower market share, especially when it comes to the marketing communication, strategic outlay?
You know, everything evolves and the pocket evolves. Many of these, the decisions on which platforms you are going to use to market your products or build your brand is also a function of how much you can afford. It's the same way now. You find that a lot of people are looking for how to travel and they're looking for the fact that maybe the air tickets have gone through the roof. So some people are looking for how to walk. You know, some people, they say they are doing, they say they are now walking to the UK. They say they are going on expedition. You know, if people can walk, people will walk right now because they cannot afford the air ticket. That goes with the same thing in multimedia and platforms. Sometimes you have a certain amount of money. You might decide that I want to reach a target audience of about 1 million over 2 weeks, but I cannot afford the cost of putting all that budget on an outdoor platform. Because people, each one has its advantage and disadvantage. No platform is foolproof. And that is where the professional comes in. But many times why it appears that the outdoor is shrinking is that you find that it costs so much to put up those digital billboards. It's like putting a screen out there. I know we don't have infrastructure. So have you seen what they do to power all those things? So the real problem is the cost of service. And so people are now re-strategizing on how they can do more for less. For example, like people, just like how the telecoms had to have outsourced their power stations and their transmission stations where they don't own it, and you might have four telecoms stations that use the same transmission base,
yep.
But they have their different services. The same thing people are realizing that to do outdoor, to run and maintain those outdoor digital platform service, outdoor service, it requires a lot of money, and you cannot get all your returns from one client. So there is strategizing. I'm sure that plan will come back again because you can't still take away the fact that outdoor has its own. It complements everybody goes out no matter what. Mm-hmm. So it complements your environment and it also gives information in a different way. So sometimes you don't even just want to carry your phone and you're just doing down the street for a job. And therefore, you're open to communication. Don't forget, professional marketing communication makes sure that whatever platform you are, you meet that target audience. And that is the difference between a professional advertising person and a non-professional. You use a myriad of multimedia platforms as well as digital marketing platforms to ensure that the campaign objectives, and never forget, you start with your objective. Yeah. Is it to sell? Is it to create awareness? Is it to launch a new product? Is it to tell Nigerians that, we're having a celebration of Nigeria at 66? Or is it to reposition the image of Nigeria? Thematic campaigns is different from schematic. I just don't want to go into grammar. What that means is that if you're trying to build, communication for change, it takes a longer period. That's why we see some campaigns talk about how you should do well, don't japa. That one is a thematic campaign. It goes over a long time. Then scheme, I just say, come, buy one, get one free. Quickly come and buy Christmas, Easter is coming. That's why you have to quickly scheme and tell them what needs to be done. So you have to understand that they all have different needs as well as strategies behind it. So knowledge is power. So I would just say, as we get, now that we're even finding that money is so hard, it's cheaper to deal with the professionals.
It's never a dull moment with you as a matter of fact, every single time we have the opportunity.
And on a lighter note, my brand name is okay, not okay, but it's all right. Just for
Bumi
brand
Oke.
building, yes. Okay, Lamalo.
You heard that? That is Madam Bumi Oke. It is up, according to the Yoruba. I mean, with you, there's never a dull
Thank you
moment.
very much.
I always feel like a student, back into business school, even as a presenter on a business program, listening to, I mean, this is experience coming to play.
Thank you very
and
much
how
for
you
the opportunity.
implement the theory and then see how the practical outlays go. We're obviously going to have you again, madam.
It's a pleasure.
But time is never our friend. I want to say a big thank you
It's a
for being
pleasure.
on the show.
Thank
Viewers,
you for having me.
thank you. So stay tuned. Business Matters continues after this short break.
Business matters. Let's talk business. Business matters.
All right, there's so much we can take on Business Matters on this week's edition. Remember, the digital platform gives you an advantage. You want to take that and build that brand. Like you heard Madam said, you must repackage so that you are well positioned for profit as well as impact. My name is Stephen Ipalbo Lawson. Until we come your way again, bye-bye for now.